Hi, good evening, C3 parents. I am so sorry about that. Apparently, when you schedule a live feed, it changes your camera settings. Good to know. Anyway, let's dive into the conversation. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm your coach, Karien Pitout. Welcome to tonight's conversation. Tonight, we're going to talk about immigration and basically in preparing our kids for immigration, what we need to look out to for. Please just let me know if you can hear me. Say hi. If you're watching this on the replay, hashtag replay so that I know. And you're welcome to drop any questions or comments down below in the question box so we can have a conversation. If you have any questions, especially if you're going through the immigration process at this particular point in time and you are curious on how to prepare your child for this big move. Now, it is important to understand that when we as parents start doing our research and all of that, and we start considering those things, that when we as adults make the decision to move to a different country, literally uproot our lives, our culture, everything, and move to a different country, our kids don't have a say in it, or at least in that specific decision. And that has a huge impact on their need for control and how they're trying to deal with things. Now, we're about 4.5, 5 months post our move. So we're still adjusting to things, and I'll keep you guys obviously on this immigration series in the loop on how it's going 6 months post and so forth. But what did we do as a family in preparation and try to set our kids up for success during this immigration process? Um, so one of the first things that we did is we actually had a family conversation. We got together as a family, we sat down and we chatted, and we actually um, took spoke to them and said, okay guys, we are going to move to this specific country. I am going to let me but we are currently in the Netherlands, but so we are moving from South Africa to the Netherlands um, due to XYZ factors, and this is what you can expect. And we actually started showing them photos of the country, not just touristy curiosities, but we even went to websites where you could look at houses for sale and houses to rent to give them an idea of what a home there would probably look like, to help them try and visualize this. We need to always take into account our children's brains are developed up to a certain particular point when you make the move. And as an adult, especially if you've moved out of your parents' home, maybe you've moved to a different town or city, or moved to a different province, or even to a different state, if you're not from South Africa, um, that move, that uprooting, even if you stay within your own country, has a significant impact on you. And it takes you a while to adjust. It takes you a while to start feeling like this new place is home. You have that knowledge. So, part of your own preparation for yourself in that whole mindset of preparing, you roundabout have an idea that, okay, it's going to take time, and you have an idea roundabout how you adjusted previously, and you're going to try and work with previous knowledge. Obviously, a big uproot from one continent to a different one. Obviously, there's bigger effects on you as an adult as well. But our kids, most of our kids, when we decide to uproot them from one continent to another, most of them actually they're moving out of the house they were born and raised in. Everything that they know is home. Everything that they know is security. We are literally taking that away and putting them in a new space. So how do we phrase those things? Yes, we show them. We get excited. We show them the fun things. We discuss the culture, like how the little bit of cultural differences, or go read up about it. Um, do investigation regarding the new country that you're going to. Look at different cultural holidays, special holidays that this particular country that you're moving to might celebrate, and how they celebrate big holidays, things like Christmas, and if that the country does Halloween. If you come from a country that does Halloween, or if you come from a country that does not celebrate Halloween, does this one celebrate Halloween? Really, like, pick your big highlight holidays and go and look at how and share photos with them, and share your own curiosities, like, oh, I wonder about this, or I wonder about this. Draw them into the conversation. First of all, it helps them familiarize themselves with the future, or at least have an idea of what the future can look like. Secondly, it is also getting them a little bit more excited, because children in general are apprehensive about the move. Some kids are excited, it's like, oh, yay, but it's the same way they're excited about the new sibling on the way, and about 3 weeks, 4 weeks down the line, wondering when they can send the sibling back to where they came from, because now they're taking up all their time. But we want to get them excited. So we want them to be prepared. So we talk about these things. We talk about the changes in seasons. We move from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere, which means everything is topsy-turvy. Today, instead of Spring Day, we celebrated like the first day of autumn. Not that we as a family did anything regarding celebrating it. It's been a busy day today. But we are in a different season in the wrong time of the year. It's the wrong season for this time of year for where we come from, and we need to prepare them in that. If you have, depending on your timeline of going over, a lot of parents are they prefer to rather like prepare them about a week before they start, selling the stuff in the house, or they try to shorten the period um, of the kids knowing, um, to make the period of them knowing about the move and the actual move, they try to make it as short as possible. I would say no. Personally, my opinion is the longer time that kids have to prepare themselves for this move, the better prepared they are, the more time they have to try and wrap their brains around this idea, to make peace with it, to say goodbye to the things. And don't think that, yes, when you do a long goodbye, it just makes it tougher. It actually doesn't. It makes it a bit easier, but you will always have your ups and downs. So the moment you and your spouse and your life partner, or the moment if you're sole parent to your kids, have made up your mind that, listen, yeah, we are doing this. We're going across the ocean, and we're going to a different continent or across the border. The moment you've made up your mind, that is when you give yourself about a week or two of research, where you can actually have an informed conversation with your kids. But try to have the conversation about relocation, about immigration, as early as possible with your child. If at all possible, take them to go for a little small holiday to that country. Not everybody is that privileged. Otherwise, you're going to have to rely on the internet. We live in an information age. It's not like you getting on the boat and not knowing at all what to expect on the other side. You at least have some bits of things that you can share with your kids and can prepare. Now, our kids' initial reaction was, when we shared with him, okay, this is the big change. These are the big changes that you can expect, like moving from homeschooling to formal schooling. Formal schooling, that sounds like as if we didn't do any schooling at all. Moving from homeschooling to basically schooling in a school building, in a school building. There was a lot of pushback. There was a lot of like, no, but I don't want to go. And knowing that that will be coming up, when our children said, no, I don't want to go, I don't feel like going, this is unfair. Well, one kid had to actually, you're ruining my life. And in a sense, we were, because we're literally uprooting this poor kid from what they know and love and finally settled into, to a place that's unknown. Allowing them that space without correcting him, without fighting with them, just keeping space for them to have their negative feelings, to have their fears, to ask questions that you are uncomfortable answering. And if they ask questions you're uncomfortable answering, you can say, listen, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how easy it will be to make new friends. I've asked on certain social media groups, um, from people who moved there, and how quickly their kids settled in. They said they did fairly quickly, but this is where we're at, and this is what you can expect. set them up for success. If you're moving to a country that actually their main language is a different language than what you speak at home, invest in language programs that teaches you um, that language, so that at least when they arrive there, they can at least say hello and how are you in the native language of that country. That will give them a bit of grounding and a bit more space to move forward. And throughout this whole process, whenever there's new information, when it's setting the date, when it's getting the documents, make them part of each part of the process as much as possible, reasonably possible. So, yes, take them to your Department of Home Affairs, or when you need to go do the legal documents, let them come queue with you for a bit, and go through the process. Let them experience the excitement, the build up, the process of going through this. Yes, they will be bored out of their skulls if the queues are long. But the interesting thing is being part of that, and being part of that process makes them feel like, okay, it's not just happening to me, I am participating in this process. Then, when it comes to relocation of furniture and all of that, what we did as a family, we didn't send over a container, we sent over boxes, because we moved from a country where the houses are big to a country where the houses are teeny tiny small. And we made the conscious decision of just bringing over mementos and small things. And after speaking to various people overseas, um, in the Netherlands, we basically say, bring this because it's very expensive to replace, but this is, it's very easy to replace, that kind of conversations. Um, what we did is we actually set out two boxes and said to them, okay, kids, so when it comes to your clothes, we're arriving in XYZ season. So we'll be taking that season's clothes and we'll get the rest for you on the other side. But when it comes to toys, things that you own, I want you to go through your own space, through your room, and if it can fit into the box, that box is yours. You can fill up that box with everything that you want to take with. Our kids did bring a couple of things that they're like, oh, I don't know why I actually packed this. It seemed important for them, but we're the same. We go through our boxes, and you can speak to any person that's been through immigration. You open those boxes and you're like, oh, why did I bring this again? Because the time period that you live without the stuff that's in the boxes, there's almost like a mindset change, and there's a cultural change in the country that you're living in. You do things differently, and with that adjustment period, your priority list of things that seemed important changes a bit. And for the kids with their toys is going to be the same. So don't be upset when the boxes of the toys arrive there, and they go through, they're like, oh, I don't want to play with this anymore. That's fine. Sorry. Sorry about that. It's fine. They don't have to, when the boxes arrive. I know you pay a lot of money to ship. We've been there. We pay a lot of money to ship stuff. But it's okay for them to open those boxes and then go, why did I send this? And I didn't want this. But it feels like a Christmas, especially a Christmas, but like a celebration, like a birthday celebration, when the boxes arrive and you start opening, like, oh, did I pack? I've actually forgot I packed this. So there's excitement, and then there's like moments when you unpack those boxes, but allow them the opportunity to have control over at least one thing that is important for them, and it's usually their own personal belongings. But that is part of the preparation. Just telling them from the get-go, okay, when we are packing up, you will at least have a box that you can put stuff in that will go over with us. Or you will have a suitcase if you're a family that's doing the leaving, if like getting rid of everything, literally just taking suitcases with clothing. Have a suitcase with stuff for your kid that they've packed, that they've chosen to take with. Because us making that blanket decision of like, well, we're moving, we're going, we're uprooting everything, and now we are taking away everything that belongs to you, is harsh and very cruel to the kids. It's literally like if someone burned your house down and say to you, oh well, you didn't have a choice about your house being gone, and guess what? You only have your clothes left. That's a kind of trauma that kids specifically experience because they've got no way of preparing themselves for such a big adjustment. Yes, we're showing them pictures, we're talking things through, we're allowing space for emotions. But remember, the reality, where we roundabout can have an idea of what reality will be, they don't. Their brain doesn't have that kind of memory to know that reality. So to keep that space and allow them to be part of as many of the processes as possible to help them get into this process of packing and unpacking and getting together and living this new change. Now, one of the things that we have is we have a child that is neurodiverse, so they actually struggle to adjust to change, and we went through a process of about 9 months to 12, 9 months to a year in the whole process of changing. So we had lots of time to prepare them. However, due to COVID, the date of hi, good evening, CD. I will answer your question now. It will take them a little bit longer. We kept on moving the date of leaving, and one of the nice things when we said is when we're leaving is that when we get to the Netherlands, or when you're in the Netherlands, there will be snow. And we were fortunate; we arrived on April Fool's Day, and literally on the 2nd of April, it snowed outside. So at least we didn't lie to the kids. And I think that is important when you're doing your preparation in all of that. Look at something in the area where you're going to settle down that is something fun for the kids. And basically plan that within the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks that since arrival, if we are still under certain restrictions regarding COVID, um, obviously that will have an impact on when that will be able to happen because of isolation and quarantine or whatever that you need to go through. But then said, like, on that day we are going to do this, that is something interesting and unique of this country in this specific area where we're going to live, whether it's taking public transport from home to the beach, or something that the kids will enjoy, something that they can look forward to, the things that happen that they can start realizing, but hey, my parents are not lying. So the dates of when your date is uncertain, we're all scared that uncertainty, I found my big word for the day, that uncertainty will actually derail them, but it won't. It will actually, you keep updating them, keeping them in the loop opens up the conversation, opens up that emotional check-ins once a week, once every 2 weeks. Check in. How are you dealing with this? How are you feeling about this? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you excited? If they're sad, it's okay. If they're happy, it's okay. Just giving them that space of where they where they can vent and where they can share is already important and amazing enough. Right, so I'm going to open the floor for some questions regarding immigration. If you have any questions on preparing our kids for immigration. One last thing. When you're looking for places to stay, a lot of people that immigrate try to find, obviously, residence, a place to rent or a place to buy before they leave, so that when they arrive, they actually have a roof over their heads. Ask the agent to do a walkthrough the house with a video and show that video to the kids. It really helped our kids, because when we arrived, they walked in, it's like, oh, we saw this in the video, and this must be there, and immediately the house felt familiar to them, at least more familiar than everything else, after the long plane ride, after the long process of the delays that came with the different lockdowns and the different levels. All right, so I was asked where in South Africa we were from. We lived in the Centurion Gauteng area. And it was, yeah, I do miss the African sun. But yeah, that's where we were from. And now we live in the Netherlands, and moving into a season of autumn. And the South Africans and everybody in the Southern Hemisphere, happy spring day. Have a beautiful spring day. And everybody in the Northern Hemisphere, buckle down. Here comes the cold. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time. We are, as you can see in the background, I finally sorted out exactly what I want for the background for the channel. So hopefully soon you'll get some behind the scenes photos on Instagram. Oh, I shook everything, and we will be able to sort out the technical difficulties that I've been having. Guys, please stay safe. Wash your hands in any way. Get vaccinated if you have not. It really is something that you can do for the safety of everybody else. And if you're unsure about your vaccine, go speak to your doctor and get the right information and the proper information. Guys, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time. And then if we can get this video up to about, let's say, 50 to 100 likes, we can see if I can get my husband in for an interview so you guys can meet the Hubbatron. Stay safe, and I'll see you again. Cheers.